Joining me now is Sonia Pruitt, retired captain of the Montgomery County Police Department in Maryland. She's a founder of the Black Police Experience. She joined me last night. Captain Pruitt, good morning to you again. Thank you for being with us. You know, last night in our coverage, Karen Bass, the new mayor of Los Angeles, former member of Congress, was on with my colleague Joy Reid, and they were talking about the brutality that we saw in the video last night. I want to play for you how Karen Bass described it.
There's the guardian mentality that's traditional, protect and serve, that often is not done with our communities. Then there's the warrior style of policing. What we saw was the warrior style of policing. But to me, unless there are very specific consequences and the leadership, I don't care how much you train people. Officers have to know that there will be consequences.
You made a similar point to me last night in which you said training's only as good as what people will actually do. These cops looked and felt and acted like warriors, not protectors and defenders.
Yes. And I also said that policy is only as good as an officer being held accountable to that policy. And then the police culture squashes both of those things, because if you're deeply entrenched enough into police culture, then the policy and the training really does not matter.
Yeah, you made that point to me, and I guess to Antonia's comment, the lawyer, Benjamin Crump, had said, you know, what happened here after the tragedy is the gold standard of how we need to do it. Charge the police, relieve them of their duties, investigate, and charge. But how do you change that first part, right? This will be accountability. It'll actually never be justice because Tyre Nichols is dead. How do we change that first part? They get training all over this country. I think you were talking about it last night. Everybody trains their police now differently. Why do these young police officers, all of whom were recruited between 2017 and 2020, why do they display behavior that we associate with very old school policing?
Because they are mentored, they are taught. And maybe for some, the draw to policing is this sense that you will have power. And, you know, I was doing some reading last night, and I was reminded of something called distributive justice. Distributive justice is different from legal justice. In distributive justice, officers are on the street distributing their own idea of what justice is. There's no idea of due process because the wheels of due process turn too slowly. And triggering that is the fact that a citizen may not comply. They may not follow your orders, that you cannot control them. Then all of a sudden you're like, well, I can now, and rationalizing it by the police culture and loyalty and how we've always done it, I can now distribute my own justice. And it doesn't even matter if you have charges. As you can see, no one knows why Tyre Nichols was stopped. And there is a part in the video where the dispatcher says, as they're pursuing him, what are the charges? And no one answers, because there probably weren't any charges.
Let me ask you very quickly about the idea that the 5 police officers charged are black and the victim is black. You and I have been talking for 3 years about police violence and police brutality, but in most cases it's been white police and black victims. What do you glean from what we know about this story?
That is so sad. In our community, we talk about internalized racism, meaning black people who hate their blackness. I'm not sure if that is the case here or whether they were just overwhelmed with the power that they had been given as police officers. But what we do know is that clearly from when you talk to anyone from the black community, that the fact that these 5 officers were not the vanguards that they were supposed to be for our community, that they were actually destroyers of a young black, to all accounts, very kind young man. I can't, it's hard to find the words. This has been sitting on my heart because I have 2 sons. They're young, they're slightly built. They're very kind and funny, and everyone loves them. And to think that these black men would not see Tyre Nichols or my son or someone else's son or nephew as a member of their own family, it is just incredibly, incredibly hurtful.
This has been a very hurtful story all around. Sonia Pruitt, thank you, as always. Sonia Pruitt is a retired police captain at the Montgomery County Police Department and the founder of the Black Police Experience.